You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney prior to or during any question. If you can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. Do you understand your rights?
When the wolf is at your door, your running's over, that's for sure. He already knows all about you. Cut you down, no matter by you. Now you better walk the line. Real life, real
Warning. This episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, may contain descriptions of acts of violence or that of a sexual nature and should be for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I do not get the facts of these cases off of the internet or from some television show. The facts I'm retelling you were presented to me by the victims of the crimes or the perpetrators who committed the crimes against the victims. My descriptions of the crime scenes, what I saw with my own two eyes. If you're going to get offended, please turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. We do something a little bit different today. Technically, a lot of these are crimes, I would guess. You know, cheating and some stupid things that people did. But you know what time it is, people? It's Olympic time, right? And you're going to get this drop right in the middle of the Olympics. Now, I watched the opening ceremonies. I kind of half-assed watched them with my family. You know, I like seeing the boats, like the one boat that had two people in it from whatever country. Shit, they had countries I never even heard of before. Pretty crazy. And I don't know about all that bullshit that went on. I didn't see the stuff about people trying to reenact the Last Supper and all that. I don't really give a fuck what they do. But I got to thinking about it. And I remember some in my lifetime, like the bombing in Atlanta. I was living in Chattanooga at the time. I'm not really going to talk about that. Of course, there's a lot of famous ones that everybody knows about. And I'm going to tell you about some that you don't know about, okay? And I remember this one in 1988, the guy named Ben Johnson, okay? And he was from Canada. And he won the gold medal for a 100-meter dash. And you think about this. These athletes that I'm going to tell you about train their entire lives to go and represent their countries, right? And it's a pride thing, and just hoo big shit, right? And matter of fact, my nieces were on the junior Olympics teams for water polo, and now both of them play water polo in college, but they didn't go to the Olympics this year. But let's go back to Ben Johnson. And I was 18 years old when this happened, and I watched this race because Carl Lewis, an American sprinter, he's just a fucking legend, a badass at the time, the fastest man on the planet and shit like that. But he got up for the 100-meter dash, big deal, right? In the United States, the track and field, I mean, it's not like it is in Europe and other countries. They make professional lives out of this. They make. It's not like the NFL money or Major League Baseball money, but they make money. And my roommate in college, Sean Brady, ran track for Southeastern, and he would go on to be, a coach for different ones, like the Scottish women's national track team, and he assisted with the LSU women's track team, and then then he went back to Southeastern for. He was a head coach at track team, and the last I heard, and he may be somewhere else now. Last I heard, I think he was at Texas A&M as our head track coach. But it's a big deal, and a lot of people do it, but they train so hard, right? And Carl Lewis, man, we just knew he was going to win. He was smoking their ass in the different events, but he got beat by Ben Johnson. Well, good for him, right? Ben Johnson, you worked so hard, and you did everything, what have you. Well, Ben Johnson won. But the day after, they come a knocking on his door and say, hey, Benny, you got to piss in the cup. And guess what? He tested positive for anabolic steroids. And so they took his medal, his gold medal, and gave it to Carl Lewis. A little bit of the ironic part on that, I don't know, how accurate the testing was, what they tested for. I'm sure it's not as in-depth as it is now. But Carl Lewis had tested positive for stimulants during the 1988 trials for the Olympics. But the U.S. Olympic Committee was like, no, fuck that, we don't believe that test or whatever. So they let him go. But Ben Johnson, living forever in history as being having your gold medal taken away. All right, let's go to Madeline and Marguerite de Jesus, or Jesus, as we would say. They were Puerto Rican twins, in Madeline and Marguerite. And 1984, I was 14 years old at Los Angeles Olympic Games. Big fucking deal, right? And, the countries get awarded the games so many years ahead of time. It's a big deal. It's supposed to be the big boost to the economy and all that. Well, people come from all over the world, watch their people do what they do, right? And Madeline and Mark came from Puerto Rico. Well, problem was Madeline was competing. They competed in a bunch of different events. And Madeline was competing in the long jump, and she fucked up her leg. She jumped and she hurt herself. So, but she was also entered in the 4x400 meter relay, right? Where you run and pass off the baton. Probably one of my coolest events to watch. And I always wonder if they're going to drop the baton. But so she gets Marguerite to enter them. They're identical twins, right? No big deal. And they ran the race. Well, guess what? There was one person there that knew they were full of shit, and that was their chief coach for the Puerto Rican Olympic team. And once he found out that they swapped out, he pulled the entire team, the entire track and field team out of the Olympics, right? I thought that was pretty cool. I actually didn't remember that story. And, all right, well, here's one. And this would be a dumb fucking criminal segment. Unfortunately, this guy's American. He had trained his whole life, and he was a long-distance runner, marathon runner. Now, you're a marathon runner. I got mad respect for these people. I've ran half marathons. I used to be a runner, and actually Sean Brady was the one that taught me how to run when I was in college, and I used to run. It was a relaxing thing for me. But a marathon's a long fucking ways, further than I was ever going to run. Even when I was in the Army, I didn't run that far. But a guy named Fred Lorz, Lorz, all right? Going all the way back to 1904. And Fred Lorz lined up with everybody, and the 1904 Olympics were in St. Louis, okay? And he runs, right? Motherfucker runs like the wind. He's doing great. He's running. And he got tired. He stopped running at the 9-mile mark, claiming exhaustion, right? Well, what happens? They got coaches and shit, right? And his coach picks him up in a car. Now, this is 1904. They had to be like a motherfucking, what's his name? Henry Ford car. I mean, shit, the cars had just been invented. And his coach picks him up, drives him for 11 miles. And old Loris is like, Coach, let me out. And the coach let him out, and guess what happened? Fred Lortz ran the rest of the race. And, I mean, he didn't run the whole race, right? And somebody saw his coach dropping him off, and he ran, and he won, y'all. And guess what happened? He got busted. Somebody ratted him out. I mean, what the fuck are you thinking? I mean, maybe that was planned. I don't know. But you can catch a ride in one of the first cars ever made to the finish line and get out and run in like, hey, I'm a fucking gold medal winner, right? Well, they busted him, and they should have. Fuck him. And the title was given to another American, Thomas Hicks, who had also got some help in the race because he used the performance-enhancing drug strychnine. Now, like me, I thought strychnine was poison, but I guess back then they didn't have anabolic steroids and they used it. I don't know. Very interesting, though. Fred Lortz, you have to be one of the dumbest fuckers in all of Olympic history. So, continuing on in the spirit of cheating, in 1896, another marathon runner, Olympic marathon runner, cheated, and his name was Spiridon. And I mean, you know, if you're gonna fucking cheat, at least cheat to be first, right? Well, he didn't make it to first, but he cheated and he got the bronze medal. But it's so fucking stupid that it was found out that part of the long marathon course, he had got into a horse and carriage. Now, that's because cars weren't even fucking invented. Somebody picked him up. He had it scheduled, and part of the course where nobody was looking. He got it. I mean, they didn't have TVs and shit like they have now, right? He gets on a motherfucking horse and carriage and gets to near the finish line and gets out. Now, he's so fucking slow that he cheats by riding in a horse and carriage, and he got busted regardless, right? And he was disqualified. The top two winners were Greek or from Greece, and I mean he fucked us. I mean Spiridon Belokos, deprived the host country from winning the top three prizes in the race because they cheated. Well, you pretty much know you were going to cheat, right? I don't get it. I mean, plan it out a little bit better, I guess. You know, they've probably been doing that shit forever, though. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. All right. Let's go to the land down under. And in the summer games, again, it's track and field is just probably, I don't know if it's the biggest part, but it's probably one of the biggest events. In 2000, when I was 30, the Olympic Games were held in Sydney, Australia. And they had an American sprinter and long jumper. Like most of these guys, they, do track and field their whole life. They, like Carl Lewis, like all of them, they run multiple events, right? And so there's an American sprinter and long jumper. And it's a she. And she won 3 gold medals and 2 bronze medals. So we know she was at least in 5 different events. But, they're checking it out, and they were like, this is fucking badass. This girl, this is a shit, right? But they were like, I don't know about that. Let's look into it. But she was married to another track and fielder, her husband, and he is a shot putter. I used to shot put in high school, but he was a shot putter, and he tested positive for steroids. Well, now they're looking at her. She's got 5 medals, and they're like, let's see, what's up with her, right? Well, she's like, fuck you, I didn't do any illegal drugs. I didn't do anything wrong. And you know what? She stuck to that story for 7 years. And for whatever reason, I guess she had a bout of guilt or something. In 2007, she actually was like, told him, she's like, yeah, hey, you know what? I did use steroids in training for the Sydney Games. And guess what? They took all of her medals. That's got to be pretty fucking depressing. I don't know if you get away with it for that long and then you're just like, oh, well, fuck it. I'm going to take my medals off my fucking mantle and strip my shit. I don't know. Didn't say these people were smart. So, all right. 1976 Olympics. Boris Onshenko. All right. And so he's from Ukraine, right? And he was in the fencing deal. And I used to love that. Oh, God. And they do the shit and they, you touch the motherfucker and you get a point and all that. Naturally, they're not trying to kill each other. They're in the padded suits and what have you. But he is fencing a British opponent, Jim Fox, all right? And he wins. But they find out that he had his sword modified, and I guess they call him a sword, whatever they call this skinny motherfucker, right? It's not like a pirate sword, but a fencing sword. And he had it modified with a click that ran up his score without him actually touching Jim Fox's weapon. So, and the British team was like, holy fuck, this dude whipped our guy's ass. And this doesn't seem right. So what do? They look into it, and the British team was like, hey, his shit's rigged, and he didn't beat our guy like that. And Boris was exposed, and he was disqualified from the games. And the press loves to give a motherfucker a name. And this is before the internet and all that. I remember 76. I was 6 years old. They named him Boris the Cheat. Yeah. And actually, pretty cool in Ukraine's part. When he got home, not only was he, named Boris the Cheat, his own country fined him for embarrassing the fuck out of him. They're like, bruh, you went over there to represent us, and come on, man, you got to put in some. This is 76. This isn't like they have all the electronic shit they have now, and I don't know exactly how it worked, but he did it. Boris the Cheat got busted, and he was last known, his fall from grace, he was last known to be working as a taxi driver in Kiev. They might be in something. His kids probably fighting in that war now where Russia invaded them. But anyway. All right. Continuing. 1960, the games were held in Rome, and they had another version of today's modern pentathlon, and the Tunisian team got off to a really shitty start, like worst in the history, right? And start off, each member fell off their horses, okay, followed by another athlete almost drowning, and then another was disqualified from the shooting section because he almost shot a judge. And so to ease off the humiliation during the fencing competition, they sent their best fencer out for each part, right? That because they have to wear the mask, the metal mask. And so instead of, they'd be like, oh, you know what? We fucking up so bad. One of our guys almost drowned, and other athletes can't even stay on the horses, and one dude almost shot the judge. Well, we got to save some fucking face, and we're going to send out our best guy and he's going to compete for everybody. Well, there you go. But believe it or not, this cheating attempt failed, and the whole entire Tunisian team was fucking disqualified from the games. Now, if I'm a legit Tunisian and I have a shot, or I'm just there because I work so hard to be part of my country, and you other douchebags cheat and get thrown off, etc., yeah, I'm going to be pissed. Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC. Hey, y'all. Changing my wardrobe from summer to fall, it's never easy. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore, ensuring my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. And there's nothing easier than going to Quince and choosing these high-quality items, like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, and I love that. I got the stainless steel Link Apple Watch band for $59.90. It's heavy duty, it's awesome, and it's like $100 less than I could find anywhere else. And I also got a 100% organic cotton fisherman quarter zip up sweater. The color is alabaster. Man, I can't wait to wear that this fall. And Cindy got the Mongolian cashmere boat neck sweater in heather gray. And I'm telling you, these are classic pieces at a fraction of the price. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/RLRC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/RLRC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/RLRC. You'll thank me later. But it happens, right? And it did happen. So let's talk about some East German female swimmers. Now, y'all know when Germany was separated and all that shit, right? So it's way back when. But the women's East German swimmers used to kick ass, right? They did really, really well for many years throughout the 1970s and the 1980s. And again, I was alive. I used to watch the Olympics like. There wasn't Dick Hessel on TV. We didn't have cable. I mean, that's all you got basically to watch. But they kicked ass so much that they were suspected of using steroids, which is the big deal, right? And the tip, if you will, that they were using steroids, and we're talking about females. We're not talking about this gender shit they got on now where men are being women and competing in events. We're talking about women. And the they suspect them using steroids, and they really suspected it because all of them had deep voices like mine, and they were built like brick shit houses, like prison muscles, right? Like men. And so, but they were always accused of it, and they denied it. And look, back then, the piss and stuff, they could swap piss. They had all kinds of ways to do it. And it's not like when you piss in a cup now, it tells your body temperature and water, specific weight of the water and your piss, because you can drink too much water and throw it off and all that. But they denied it for fucking 20 years. And in 1991, again, I don't know, these motherfuckers are on their deathbed and having guilt conscience or something. In 1991, they finally admitted that, yeah, you know what? We fucking were on steroids. Well, I'm pretty sure they knew, y'all. But anyway, that is that. All right. I'm going to talk about the 1936 Berlin Olympics. And I got some more stuff I'm going to share that's not just cheating on this. And I'm going to share with you in a minute, but I'm going to talk about Dora Ratjen, Ratjen. I'm sure I'm fucked up her name, but she won the women's high jump record in the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Now, that's when Hitler was in. A lot of the world boycotted, and we'll get into that in a minute. But Dora, she won, right? Yay, great for her, right? But Dora had a problem. Dora was actually horsed, Horst. And years later, Dora was a he, okay? And Horst cheated, acted like he was Dora Ratjen. And he later admitted that he was ordered by the Nazis to pose as a woman for the sake of the honor and the glory of Germany, right? Anyway, he had lived the life of a female athlete for 3 fucking years, meaning, I guess it was the SS or whoever the fuck he lived as a woman for 3 years, and he competed and he won, right? Hi, Hitler, motherfucker. And just goes to show you how stupid they were. But anyway, there's a lot, y'all, but I'm gonna try to stick with the Summer Olympics, okay? Let's talk about 1908, the Summer Olympics. They were in London, England, right? Or United Kingdom now, I guess they call it. So the Grand Duchy of Finland, or Duchy, whatever the fuck, competed separately from the Russian Empire. But he competed separate from the Russian Empire, but he wasn't allowed to display the Finnish flag, and I don't know why. But in the men's 400 meters, the American winner John Carpenter was disqualified for blocking a British athlete, Wyndham Housewelly, in a maneuver that was, okay, you've seen this like in Chariots of Fire, when they run these heats and they can cut off in front of the person and whatever. Well, an American did it, but they said it was illegal under British rules. Well, motherfucker, it should be world rules. It's the Olympics. But they disqualified him. So they disqualified him, but we're going to give you a second chance. So we're going to disqualify you, but we're going to hold a second race. So they ordered a second final race. Now, Housewell was to face the other 2 finalists, William Robbins and John Taylor. But both were from the United States, and they were like, we're not gonna contest, and we're not gonna repeat this shit. And they did that to protest the judge's decision. And so what ultimately happened was Housewell was the only medalist in the 400 meters, which is the only time in Olympic history that you have a walkover, all right, which means nobody else competed. But Taylor later on, y'all, would run on the gold medal winning U.S. team for the medley relay, which isn't even it's no longer done. But he was the first African American medalist ever. I thought that was pretty cool, right? So I'll tell you about another American athlete. Most people know this name, Jim Thorpe, right? In 1912, in the Summer Olympics in Stockholm, Sweden, Jim Thorpe was stripped of his gold medals in the decathlon and the pentathlon after it was learned that he had played professional minor league baseball 3 years earlier. Now, it isn't like it is now, y'all, where you got LeBron James and all these people that are getting paid. I don't know if a lot of people don't remember that, but even in my lifetime, you couldn't be a professional athlete and then go to the Olympics. And I think they might have started with like the Dream Team back in the 90s or something. But so Jim Thorpe, because he played minor league baseball, in 1912, they wasn't making no fucking money. But he went in there and he kicked fucking ass in Stockholm, and they took all his medals from him, right? Well, so another guy named Hugo Weislander was like, nah, that's pretty fucking shit that y'all did that. And he refused to accept the medals when they were offered to him. Like, here's Jim Thorpe's shit, you know, and he can't have it because he played minor league baseball. And the next guy in line was like, fuck it, I don't want him. And 30 years after Jim Thorpe died in 1983, when I was 13 years old, his family was finally given his gold medals. Crazy. All right. Well, I would tell you about the 1916 Summer Olympics, but guess what? They didn't happen, y'all, because they were to be in Berlin, which was then part of the German Empire, and they were canceled because of World War I. All right. And anyway, I'll tell you about 1920 in the Summer Olympics in Antwerp, Belgium. Budapest had originally been selected over Amsterdam and Lyon to host the games, but as the Austro-Hungarian Empire had been a German ally in World War I, the Olympic Committee was mostly made up of French people, and they were like, "Fuck you," because you helped kill all our people, and you know World War I, the Great War they called it at the time, and we're not even giving you the game. So they went to Antwerp. So Austria, Bulgaria, Germany, Hungary, and Turkey were not invited to the games, and they all got their ass kicked in World War I. So, do you think of it in there? Well, 1924, I think World War I ended in 1919. So another 5 years later, the games were held in Paris, France. Well, guess what happened? They were like, France told Germany, go fuck yourself. You cannot compete in these games, right? I'm just kind of giving you the history, y'all. Anyway, so let's go to, I'm going to talk about this, the 1936 Summer Olympics in Berlin, right? Now, Hitler had come to power after World War I. They signed the Treaty of Versailles. Germany did, but a lot of the Germans felt cheated because during World War I they had invaded France and those countries, and they never lost. They never lost any ground. In the end, they signed the Treaty of Versailles, which took away their military, all their weapons, and they had to go back into the boundaries of Germany, if you will. And they went into like big time depression, and everybody was broke. They said it'd take like a whole wheelbarrow of whatever they were, marks, to buy one loaf of bread, right? And the country's in shambles. Well, we know Hitler was a corporal in World War I, but he was actually from Austria, and the powers that be, he started speaking out and joined the Nazi movement. Ultimately, he got arrested in the Munich beer hall push, wrote Mein Kampf when he was locked up. He gets out, and people love the National Socialism Party, the Nazis, because it gave the German people pride again, right? And so he's building it for the 1,000-year Reich, and he's got all this shit. And they built the Autobahn, which is against the rules, but he mainly built it so they could haul ass from one end of the country to the other with all their weapons. And of course, he rebuilt the military. Everything he could do to fuck over the Treaty of Versailles, he did it. But he gave the German people pride. And 1936, he said, we're going to hold the baddest motherfucking games ever. Right? And it's all about the Nazis and making them look good. So in 1931, the International Olympic Committee selected the German capital city of Berlin as the host city for the 1936 Summer Olympics. Now, when Adolf Hitler rose to power in 1933, the kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything, right? The plans for the Olympic Games became all twisted up in the politics of the Nazi regime. And Hitler regarded the event as his Olympics and sought to exploit the gains for propaganda purposes with the aim of showcasing post-First World War Germany. Now, that's his purpose, right? He's rebuilding the country. Everybody's proud of him and everything else. In 1936, the year of the Games, a number of prominent politicians and organizations called for a boycott of the Summer Olympic Games, while other campaigners so you know what, we don't have to boycott the game, let's just fucking move it out of Germany. I mean, they already knew that they were having the persecution of the Jews and everything else. Let me tell you about these games, okay? So Lithuania, Hitler was like, fuck it, we're not even inviting them, okay? And because of the Klaipėda region controversy, whatever the fuck that was. So, and also the Popular Front government of the Second Spanish Republic decided to boycott the Berlin Games entirely. And together with some labor groups and socialist groups around the world, they organized an alternate Olympics, right? Called the People's Olympiad. And guess what? I guess they couldn't get the money together or whatever, or enough athletes, because it never took place. Well, truthfully, just when the games were about to start, the Spanish Civil War broke out, so they canceled it. All right. Now, what's going on in old U.S. of A. at the time? In the United States, they were like, we should boycott the games. We shouldn't boycott the games, whatever. Now, remember, in 1936, we had no idea we were getting into World War II. But the president and them were like, fuck that, we're not getting into it. We do not want any part of this war. We're not sending our kids to die again for England and France. Well, of course, we know all that changed when Japan sucker punched us. But they were going back and forth about going to the games, right? And one of the biggest leaders of the boycott was a U.S. athlete and politician, Ernest Lee, I think it's Hanke, Jahncka, and he was the son of a German immigrant who was on the International Olympic Committee, but he got expelled for his views, I guess, against Germany. So anyway, there was international concern surrounding the Germans' National Socialist ideology of racial superiority, fucking Nazism, and its application at such a big-ass event as the Olympics, right? And in 1934, Avery Brundage undertook a visit to Germany. He went to check it out to investigate the treatment of the Jews. When he returned, he reported, I was given positive assurance in writing that there will be no discrimination against the Jews. You can't ask more than that, and I think the guarantee will be fulfilled. Well, in the event, a number of record-holding German athletes were excluded from competing at the Berlin for being racially undesirable, including Lily Hinnock, Gretel Bergman, and Wolfgang Fürstner. And the only Jewish athlete to compete on the German team was a fencer named Helen Meyer. So they suck in the USA. Hey, come on in. We're not going to discriminate against Jews. Well, then they only have one person of Jewish ethnicity on their team, right? Well, then of course everybody knows the story about Jesse Owens, the African American who went to Berlin and competed in the games. And Hitler, like I said, it was his games, and he would make it the gold medal winners. He would go down there and shake their hands and shit. Well, when Jesse Owens won the long jump medal, the gold medal, Hitler was right there by him, and guess what he wouldn't do? He would not shake Jesse Owens' hand, right? But yeah, some of the people, I guess, still trying to take up for him, not knowing the fucking monster Hitler was. That some of the commentators noted that Hitler missed all medal presentations after the first day, and he only wished to shake hands with the German winners, right? Jesse Owens, class act, and he didn't really do anything. I mean, he didn't bash on Hitler. He didn't cause a stir. But when he got home, President Franklin D. Roosevelt gave him, or personally honored him, for winning the gold medal. All right, stick with me. The Irish Olympic Council, this same time, 1936, they boycotted the games, and because the IAAF had expelled the National Athletic Cycling Association for refusing to restrict itself to the Irish Free State rather than the island of Ireland. I guess that civil war shit going on. In the cycling match sprint final, German Tony Merkens fouled, and how the fuck you foul in cycling? I guess you hit him. Fouled Dutch Arie van Velde. But they didn't disqualify him. Merkens was only fined 100 German Reichsmarks, and he got to keep his gold medal, which I'm sure was worth a hell of a lot more than 100 Reichsmarks, and I'm sure that Hitler paid that shit. But anyway, in one of the football quarterfinals, everybody else in the world, well, we know it as soccer, Peru beat Austria 4-2. But Austria got to advance to the next round, but it caused a big controversy, right? And as a sign of protest, the complete Olympic delegations of Peru and Colombia left Germany. They're like, fuck you. And obviously the Germans were cheating, no doubt about it. The French and Canadian Olympians gave what appeared to be the Nazi salute at the opening ceremony. But they say they may have been performing the Olympic salute, which is similar, as both were based on the Roman salute. I'm pretty sure the motherfucking French Canadians weren't throwing out the Heil Hitler symbol, right? Go just a couple, the next one, 4 years later, the Summer Olympics. Well, guess what? They were to be in Tokyo, Japan. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of an LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser-cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdowns scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gifts to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. But were canceled due to the outbreak of the Second Sino-Japanese War. Now, the government of Japan abandoned support for the 1940 games in July 1938, so 2 years ahead of time. And the International Olympic Committee then gave the games to Helsinki, Finland, who had been the runner-up in the original bidding process to get the games. But the games were not held due to the Winter War. And ultimately, the Olympic Games were suspended indefinitely following the outbreak of World War II. And guess what, y'all? They didn't start back until 1948. All right? I'm going to tell you back a little bit of kickback and then I'll quit. In 1948, the Summer Olympics were again in London, England, or United Kingdom. The 2 major Axis powers of World War II, which were Germany and Japan. Now, Italy was part of it too, but the biggest ones were Germany and Japan. And guess what? The old Brits said, fuck you, Japan, who was probably still under martial law, and fuck you, Germany. We know they were under martial law. They suspended them. And Italy, who had been an ally, a part of the evil axis of evil, Italy participated, right? And German and Japanese athletes were allowed to compete again in the 1952 Olympics, so another 4 years later. Now, after the war, you remember Soviet Union and U.S. and Great Britain and France dividing up all, basically Germany and everything else. Well, now the Cold War had started and the Soviet Union was invited to those games in the 52 Olympics, and they sent some observers. I'm sorry, this was in 1948. They sent observers saying that we're not sending any athletes, but we're going to send some observers to see how it was going to work out for us in the 1952 Olympics. Sounds like political bullshit to me. And, this shit just goes on and on and on. All right, I'm going to end up with this. Let's fast forward to numerous years. Everybody knows about the Munich Massacre, right? And this was in 1972. I was 2 years old. This happened was the members of the Israeli Olympic team were taken hostage by a Palestinian terrorist group named Black September. And 11 athletes, coaches, and judges were murdered by the terrorists. And I'm not going to go too much further into it. It's probably absolutely the biggest crime ever in the Olympics. And, there's movies about it and everything else, right? So the same games in 72, Rhodesia, I guess that's Africa or somewhere, they were banned from participating in the Olympics as a result of a 36-31 vote by the International Olympic Committee held 4 days before the opening ceremonies. African countries had threatened to boycott the Munich Games had the white minority ruled regime been permitted to send a team. So, you remember back then the apartheid and all that, right? The ban occurred over the objections of the International Olympic Committee President Avery Brundage, who in a speech following the Munich Massacre controversially compared the anti-Rhodesia campaign to the terrorist attack in the Olympic Village. Well, that's a pretty shitty thing to say. In the gold medal basketball game, the U.S. team appeared to win the gold medal game against the Soviet team, but the final 3 seconds were replayed 3 times until the Soviets won. That's fucked up. And the Cold War's in its height, but they were like, no, give them another shot. No, give them another shot. No, give them another shot till they make the basket, and then they gave the gold medal to the Russians. In the 1972 Olympics, the Black Power salute, also known as the Forgotten salute, was commonly used. At the end of the men's marathon, a German imposter entered the stadium to the cheers of the stadium ahead of the actual winner. So he just jumps in, and they're announcing him as the winner. And Frank Shorter of the United States was the guy who actually won it. And during the American Broadcasting Company, or ABC's coverage of the event, the guest commentator and writer Eric Siegel famously called to Shorter, "It's a fraud, Frank." And, but let's do, in the same year, last one, I promise. In the Mills Field hockey final, Michael Cross's goal in the 60th minute gave the host West German team a 1-0 victory over Pakistan. And Pakistan was the defending champions. And the Pakistani players complained about some of the umpiring and disagree that Cross's goal was good. Now, after the game, Pakistani fans ran onto the field in rage. And some players and fans dumped water on Belgium's Rene Frank, and the head of the Sports International Governing Body. And during the medal ceremony, the players staged protests. Some of them turned their backs to the West German flag and handling their silver medals disrespectfully. And that's according to the Washington Post. The team's manager, G.R. Chaudhry, said that his team thought the outcome had been pre-planned by the officials, Horacio Cerveto of Argentina and Richard Jewell of Australia. Well, that's enough of that. Y'all want to do some Olympic shit, and there's a lot more stupid stuff, and I could have gone and done the details of, the massacre in Munich and all that, but I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't want to give it like the Black September shit. That's just too much shit, and the same shit's going on now. You know what? One of my all-time favorites I will talk about because I lived this. On January 6, 1994, Nancy Kerrigan, right? Worked her whole life to get to the Olympics, and she was the good girl. Well, you had Tanya Harding, who was, they made her out to be white trash, not me. And they attended a practice together just a month before the Olympic Games at Lillehammer, Norway. And as everyone knows, at the end of the practice session, a man who was hired by Tanya Harding's former husband, Jeff Gooley, basically beat Kerrigan's right thigh with a police baton. And Harding, naturally, was automatically accused of masterminding the attack, and her career suffered for it. And she maintained to this day that she wasn't responsible and had no prior knowledge of the crime. And Nancy Kerrigan quickly recovered and went on to Olympics, where she won a silver medal in the ladies skating event. And I'll tell you what else. Tanya Harding certainly had the fall from grace, but I know she was in a porno. Don't ask me how. It was 1996. I was 26 years old. But just goes to show certainly most athletes are honest. Most countries are honest, but a lot of people aren't. There's good and bad in every profession, and that includes athletes. So, and speaking of athletes, Ryan Loder in the Ultimate Fighter Championship won his second fight, and he's going to the finals. So congratulations, Ryan. He fought a 3-round match and won hands down, no contest. So that would be, I'm not sure if they announced the final date yet, but Ryan's a class act, man, and we support him 1,000%. And Lopa, Louisiana, Oregon. Oh, let me back up real quick. O'Hara's Irish Pub, 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge, 25 or 30 different beers on tap. Great place. Brian Ott, y'all go down there, have you a cold one, tell them I sent you. Tell them Real Life Real Crime sent you, and we'll be there more often than not. 136 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge, O'Hara's. Love it, love it, love it. And Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, LOPA. Back up one more time. Patrons, convicts, Apple subscribers, thank you so much. I just released a 30-minute video this week for y'all. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be doing a lot more of that and some stories. Next week, we're getting back to regular crime stories. I thought, some of the shit was, I didn't know about it, the Olympics, and I've been watching my entire life. So, but LOPA, Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, it's their jam, people. People are dying every single day waiting on organ transplants, and sign up to be an organ donor. You can be a lifer from, you don't have to be from Louisiana. You can be a lifer from Paris, France, right? And you go to lopa.org and fill out the little questionnaire thing, take 2 minutes, and become a hero, give the gift of sight, life, and all that. LOPA's a nonprofit. They do beautiful things every day, taking care of these families all the way around, and we'll support them as long as I'm breathing. So with that, I'm Woody Overton, the host of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. Until next time or ever, don't let me catch you down murder by you. Peace. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney prior to and during any question. If you can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. Do you understand your rights?